Samsung has run out of ideas. At least that's what I keep hearing. So today we're at Samsung KX in London for Galaxy Unpacked, and what is probably their biggest launch of the year with just the sheer number of devices we're seeing today. We've just seen the launch of the new Flip, the Fold, the Galaxy Watch Ultra, as well as the Watch 7, the Buds 3, the Buds 3 Pro, a whole new category of product for Samsung, the Galaxy Ring, and of course, all of these products are infused with Galaxy AI. Now, at the time of you watching this, I should have all of these products in my actual hands for a full review, so subscribe if you want to see those. But for now, we've got our first hands-on with each of these products today. So we're gonna go through them one by one and try and answer that question of whether Samsung has in fact run out of ideas. Starting with the Watch 7 and the brand new Watch Ultra. Now, I'll admit that over the last year, I've tried a different bunch of watches because for me, the Watch 6 still felt like it was being held back in terms of performance. Now this year, again, we have a more powerful processor, this time with 3 times faster performance that I'm told, improvements to the GPS system, a next-gen bioactive sensor, and of course, Galaxy AI in the form of smart replies, wellness tips and sleep scoring, and some additional gestures like double pinch to answer a phone call, take a photo, or play and pause music. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to try out how any of these actually worked because none of the devices we had access to were actually paired to each other. But broadly speaking, it looks and kind of functions the same as the Watch 6. Apart from those new features. Okay, so literally, I think this is the first time anyone switched on this watch. I've just found on the side and it was switched off, so I've just switched it on. And again, like from a performance perspective, just swiping, kind of questionable as to its response. It's still that slight bit of lag that's questionable to me, I would definitely say. Yeah. Full opinion still needs to be formed, but not too sure initially. Again, love the design, similar design to last year. This has many of the features of the Galaxy Watch Ultra, so much of the same comes across to here. And again, I just hold my reservations as to the performance. I think I need to actually get one of these, use one of these solidly for a good few weeks to form a proper opinion. But then we have the Watch Ultra, which is, of course, their take on capturing the Apple Watch Ultra's market, which is absolutely thriving here at Samsung KX today. I found it quite funny that I was the only person taking notes during the briefing on a Samsung laptop. Literally, everyone else had either a MacBook Pro, or iPad, lols. But with the Watch Ultra, they're of course going for more of a part watch, parts AI assistant approach here. But that aside, it is essentially just a more rugged 47mm titanium cased version of the Watch 7 with some new to Samsung features. A customizable quick action button, an 86 decibel emergency siren, a night vision face, 3000 nits peak brightness. Kind of sounds familiar, right? But with a price that is more affordable than an Apple Watch Ultra at only £599. Now, the only thing that's missing here is that there are no diving features, with only an IP68 rating and a further rating of only 10 minutes at up to 100 meters depth. Now, I know everyone gives Apple a hard time on all of the features they've copied from others, but come on. Now, the demo units we had access to, as far as the watches were concerned, they weren't fully baked just yet. I noticed on the Ultra, it used a Vitality name, which was different to the name the Watch 7 I was using had. And the scroll wheel on the side literally did nothing. I'm not sure quite what's going on there yet, and that's one of the first things I am going to be testing when I get my hands on one. And again, would have thought you could scroll through the list of exercises, but you can't, so not quite sure why that's a scrollable crown. Full review later on today. But whichever side you sit in that inevitable discussion that never ends well, if you're coming from an earlier generation of Galaxy Watch, then the Galaxy Watch 7 or of course the Watch Ultra is obviously a nice upgrade for you. Oh, and also to throw in here, they did say that you'll get a 30% battery saving when using a new Galaxy Watch with a Galaxy Ring, since you don't need both devices capturing the same information. So the watch will then disable things like the heart rate sensor and use the Ring instead. Not sure how that's going to work with the Watch 6. I'd like to think that it could happen and integrate with the Watch 6, but who knows. Now, the big question for me here is, performance. And based on my initial testing here today, I'm not sure. They say it's 3 times the performance, but it almost feels as though it's perhaps the animations, which are now making things feel slower than they actually are. Try some things here. So swiping down, swiping up, seems to be better. That goes straight into the my exercises. That's a back button down the bottom, the new action button at the top here. I almost feel like some of the issues with the Galaxy Watch is that it's the software, their chosen way they've decided to do certain animations. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a proper run. I'm actually gonna switch to this one for as long as I'm allowed to keep it for review. And I'm gonna swap away from my Garmin watch, which I'm actually really loving right now. But yeah, first impressions, I would say very interesting. It's a very bold design. This is totally different to like anything we've seen before in terms of, certainly smartwatches. It moves away from their traditional kind of round style, kind of edging towards Apple's Apple Watch Ultra, I guess. Let's talk about the Galaxy Ring now, which is a whole new category of products from Samsung this year. Now, obviously, trying to catch up with the likes of the Oura Ring, which has exploded in popularity in recent years. And for good reason. As someone who has worn the Oura and the Ultra Human smart rings for the last 2 or 3 years or so, it is nice to have something that can really monitor a lot of that key health stats data without the bulk of wearing a watch, because a lot of people just don't like wearing a watch when they sleep. So the Galaxy Ring comes in at £399 in 3 colors and 9 sizes, which you measure by using their ring sizing kit, and is on sale on the 24th of July 2024. Now, I am told that you can order a ring sizing kit online for £10, which then gets credited off your actual full order. Or of course, if you have access to a nearby store, then you can walk in and get size right there and then. Now, the ring itself comes in this really nice concave design and has a 7-day battery life, which already sounds better than my Oura or Ultra Human rings, which seem to go around about 5 days or so. Now, they did say that the smaller ring will have a slightly shorter battery life, maybe more towards like 6 days, and that anything from the size 10 or bigger should go the full 7 days. And that's with all of the features enabled. Oh, and also the Galaxy Ring has no subscription fees like you do with the Oura Ring. Now, its focus is, of course, on collecting data such as your sleep quality, heart rate, workouts, women's cycle tracking, and using Galaxy AI, we use all of this data to give you this energy score and tips to improve your overall, health and well-being. There's also heart rate monitoring, which alerts for abnormally high, abnormally low rates, inactivity alerts similar to watch notifications. But the thing here that really caught my eye was the charging case. Now, they still have the same problem that most smart rings have here, where the charger will only fit the specific size ring that you buy. So if you and your partner both wear a ring that are different sizes, you can't share a charger between you. But the case itself holds 2 to 3 full charges, plus it supports wireless and USB-C charging. And I couldn't quite work it out in the demo, but when you open the case, it also lit up with LEDs to, I think, show you the battery percentage of the case, although the Samsung rep I spoke to did say that it may also reflect the battery status of the ring once placed on there. We just kind of couldn't figure it out in all the short time we had with each of these products. And I like this. I'm interested to see how many people actually go out and pick up one of these rings over something like an Oura Ring, especially with some of the features that we've not seen before in other smart rings. You've got Find My Ring support, so you can quickly find it with the Samsung Find app, and also double pinch to dismiss a phone alarm or take a photo. I really like this, but I know for me, being able to just double pinch to dismiss my alarm is a very quick way to just not waking up and not getting out of bed in the first place. Now, for me, I found my smart rings really useful to begin with. I've used the skin temperature readings when speaking to my doctor when I was coming down with a bug. I've tracked my sleep, and I've been able to learn that certain things like drinking alcohol can absolutely ruin a good night's sleep, so I can then adjust what I need to do when I'm awake to maximize my health. So I am really excited to check out this new ring from Samsung and see how it actually compares to its competition. And then we have the, 2 main events. You've got the Flip and the Fold6. And this is really where a lot of the Samsung has run out of ideas talk kind of comes from. Because on the outside, there doesn't seem to be much of a difference. Now, this year, we have a minor design update with a 0.1 inch larger front-facing screen. And then on the inside screen, which is now also ever so slightly shorter and slightly wider, they've also bumped the peak brightness on the screen to a whopping 2,600 nits, which is flagship level, plus the expected bump, of course, to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, and some updates to the camera with a new 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. But again, if you just look at the device, I can see why you'd think there isn't really anything new that sets this apart from the Z Fold or Z Fold 5, and in some cases, even the Z Fold 4, which for all intents and purposes, again, looks identical. Taking a leaf out of Apple's book here, the Z Fold 5 is the best Z Fold they've ever made. And that's not to say that it's not a great phone. Again, this year we have, of course, Samsung's best-in-class foldable phone with great battery life, great cameras, and of course the whole foldable experience with Samsung's take on how multitasking should be done on a foldable phone, including some very unique features such as interpreter mode, where you can hold live conversations in different languages, although it didn't do the best job at translating Spanish for me when we actually tested it out.
Qué guay. Me encanta Samsung.
What's up? I love Samsung.
What's up? I love Samsung.
But generally speaking, it's all great stuff, and I can't wait to get my hands on one properly to review it, which should be around about now whilst you're watching this video. But the phone I think the majority of people are interested in is the Z Flip 6. Now, correct me if I'm wrong with spam, fold, or flip in the comments down below, and we'll see who's right. And whilst you are doing that, I want to thank RoboForm for supporting this channel and sponsoring today's video. Now, RoboForm offers a cross-platform and cross-browser password manager that allows you to use unique passwords for every service you log into. Because, however good a built-in password manager is, their one limiting factor right now is lack of cross-compatibility. Now, it logs in with one click, and not only is it a password manager, but it's an incredibly good form filler, filling in names, emails, credit cards, debit cards, two-factor authentication codes. It also has passkey support, which is meant to be the next replacement for actual passwords. And all of this is securely locked away in your own private and encrypted password vault. And with literally tens of thousands of 5-star reviews, well, I'm sure they're not wrong. So just click on the link down below to get 60% off of RoboForm. And again, a huge thank you to RoboForm for sponsoring this video. So the Z Flip 6. Now, after last year's major redesign with the near full front screen to this year's same looking phone, albeit with some new colored rings around the cameras, of course, we've got all the same Galaxy AI features we've seen across the board this year, and with a very much needed camera upgrade this time from a 12 megapixel to a 50 megapixel main camera lens. That's the same one that's in the S24 and S24 Plus. Got a bigger battery, again, another much needed and much wanted upgrade from 3591 milliamp hours to a 4000 milliamp hour battery. There's the same bump to 2600 nits peak brightness and the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 CPU. Didn't mention this last time, but both of these phones now have a brand new vapor chamber technology, which has been pulled from the Galaxy S24 series of phones. But still, the truly compact, but ever so more powerful mobile phone that I think is a more compelling purchase for many people, like majority of people, who just want a phone and not this, mini tablet fold in their pocket. Now, I'm really digging the camera upgrade here. One of the biggest issues I found with last year's Flip 5 was having that single 12 megapixel lens, which couldn't really zoom in that far before you start losing quality. And there's a new AI zoom feature here on the Flip 6 this year, which makes use of those 15 megapixels to crop in further when you are, shooting people from further away and might want a zoom lens. And then we have, of course, Galaxy AI. I know, of course, we're probably all bored of hearing those letters already. And the main news from today's announcement is, of course, Galaxy AI has come to, well, basically everything. Now, some of them are, I think, actually going to be useful. You've got quick reply suggestions, which uses Galaxy AI to look back on your conversations and suggest contextually aware replies to those messages, which I have seen be useful maybe once or twice on my S24 Ultra whilst using Android Auto whilst driving. You've also got circle to search, of course, useful in the literal handful of times I've used it. Interpreter mode, I'm actually going to use in a few days' time in Italy. So again, subscribe if you want to see how well it actually works in real world testing. Live transcription, of course, including on group calls where multiple people are identified, which you can then get summarized. But lots of the other AI features, for at least for me, rarely, if ever, really used. But one of the big announcements, I think, that will go under the radar for many people, myself to included to begin with, I kind of initially dismissed these, are the Galaxy Buds 3s and the Buds 3 Pros, which now have support for 24-bit audio, double that of the previous generation, so much higher audio quality. Now for the Pros, there's this new blade lighting thing on the side, so you can see if they're actually on or off. is actually most useful for pairing, or if you want to find them, if they're lost and sat on the couch somewhere. But beyond that, I just can't see most people using it. They're just going to switch it off because, after all, it's just costing you battery life, and it's not like you can see it when you're wearing them. Now, they are both dust and water resistant with an IP57 rating. And also, I'm very interested in seeing how Galaxy AI-powered active noise cancellation compares to the rest of the market leading buds. With that, they're touting it this time as the ultimate audio experience. So really, really hope it lives up to that. Now, this AI experience will allow noises through, such as alarms, sirens, or probably more likely, conversations without having to manually adjust the transparency modes. So you can switch between all these active noise modes. You can see we're in an ambient sound right now, but if I stop talking, I'm guessing it should. Okay, and then I'm going to start talking, and it is just about started now. There we go, now I can hear everything. So it does take a few seconds for it to kick in. It also offers better call clarity, with it being able to filter out just your voice for super clear calls, and a really, really cool feature, if it works, again, key point, if it works, of real-time interpretation when speaking to someone in another language. That's like Star Trek level kind of cool, if it works. So we're going to be putting that to the test, of course, in the next coming weeks. And that's, of course, if they stay in my ears, which 99% of earbuds really don't seem to. So have Samsung run out of ideas? I guess you could argue that on the face of things, physically and with the design, they have stayed the same for quite a while now. Now, Samsung have fully committed to their design at this stage. I don't think we're going to see any major redesigns on any of their existing product lines in a very long time, as they just refine what they already know works for them. It is their, the new products that are making waves, that's for sure. I think Oura and Ultrahuman are really going to have to up their game to compete. And as much as we seem to hate on ecosystems, Samsung are definitely building out their own ecosystem very nicely now. Now, it is painful at times, but it is getting there. And the focus, most definitely, if you can't tell already, is all about software and AI this year, which I feel is basically the same place many big brands are right now, both with adding AI features into existing hardware, but also I've been saying that the iPhone has been getting boring for many, many years now. As an iPhone user, it just hasn't changed. But I also see people saying the same things about the S24 series being the same as the generations before that. But what do you think? Are you bored of Samsung's phones? Let me know down in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye-bye.